live on Facebook, which is exciting. I'm super pumped to have woken the phenomenal Fieldsy up from her slumber, as it is now, gosh, 8 a.m. in Brisbane. Is that correct?
8 a.m. in Perth.
In Perth. Shit. Why do I keep saying Brisbane? I don't know. I'm sorry. Cool. How's Perth going?
I think it'd be about 10 a.m. in Brisbane.
Okay. Because Australia is about the same size as North America.
I don't know, is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you look on a map, it doesn't look like it for whatever reason, but they've illustrated the way, but actually, it's about the same size.
That's
so
crazy.
when you're like looking at like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, remember that movie?
My favorites.
Yeah. It's a lot. There's a lot of land. So what's Perth like?
Perth is beautiful. I mean, WA, obviously we are the most isolated city-state in the world. WA is huge, and Perth is like just a tiny part of it.
Right.
But it's very far away from the rest of Australia, which I learned very early when I moved here. You have to fly to the other states. Really.
Okay.
It's about a week's drive to go anywhere, but it's gorgeous. The beaches are beautiful. It's very chill and laid back, and I think that's why I like it a lot.
That's cool. Why did you move to Perth?
Work.
Sorry, you had work?
Work, yeah. So we moved here 9 years ago, and at the time, Ireland, the economy went to pop. So we had choices to come to Perth or Canada. Well, Australia or Canada, and I mean, which are both beautiful places, but one snowed 9 months of the year and one was like sunny 9 months of the year. So
valid. And there's a lot of artistic folk in Perth, aren't there?
There is. It's amazing. The scene here is crazy. Like, I've met so many amazing musicians in the last 9 years than I've ever met in my entire life in Ireland. It's just crazy, and it's such a tight-knit community, and everybody has each other's back, and there's lots of camaraderie, and it's great.
That's cool. All right, so tell me about your work. Tell me everything. I want to know everything. What is your life as a full-time musician from Ireland living in Perth? What is that like?
As a musician? Did you say?
As a human, as a musician? Yeah. I mean, you are human, right? Like, I just want to check that.
I mean, I'm half human.
Because like your social media game makes you look like a goddess, which I feel like you actually might be. So.
I mean, same with you. Here we are. We're the only ones that know the truth. But I moved here with 2 kids and a baby on the way. So I did 2 years of settling and no music at all, apart from listening. I didn't. I came from Ireland doing lots of studio stuff with DJs and producers. Not a lot of performing. Moved here, took about 2 years to settle. And then I was like, okay, that's it. I need to get back into it. So I started a band with a guy called Andy, and his surname is Brun, and mine is Caulfield. And we just meshed the 2 names together, and we started a band called Brewfield, which lasted for about 6 years, and it was amazing. And during that time, I got to know lots of like venues and people, and how to kind of run your game in the music scene here. So when I went solo during the time that I was still in the band, it was pretty easy for me to, reach out to venues and other bands to be support acts and stuff like that. The band came to an end last year because we kind of just run our course, and we were happy to like all try different things. And they're still my best friends, but my solo career was kind of getting really busy, and I couldn't manage both. So I was like, I can either do 50% of both or 100% into one thing. And I was kind of like, well, what is my one thing that I'm more passionate about? And that was my solo stuff. Because when I started to kind of want to go solo, I developed my own style, which is what I do now. And I didn't even know that existed. It just naturally, organically happened.
Yeah.
And after about a year or so, I was like, this is what I need to do. So I had to listen to myself and my own kind of instincts and pursue that. And this is what I do.
So how was that transition for you? Because I have a similar story. I was in a hard rock band for 5 years, and now I'm not hard rock. So, I mean,
it's funny. I just had an interview actually for an online magazine, and they asked me this similar question, and until I kind of went solo, I didn't realize how much of a fraud I was being. Like, if that makes sense. I felt like such a fraud. I love bouncing around stage, being a pop rock like queen, you know, and slamming sambucas and jumping like, you know, off stage into the crowd, and that's amazing. But also I'm 38, like I'm like, I you know, my knees and my hips are getting bad, so I can't be doing that forever.
I would never have guessed you were 38. That's amazing.
It's the Botox, my love.
Seriously?
Yeah, Botox and
oh my gosh. Oh gosh, okay. See, I'm an IPA girl myself, so here we go.
Okay. I mean, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you, you know, the elixir of life.
Like a true Irish girl.
Oh, right. But, yeah, I love it. I love doing it, and I would do it tomorrow again. But I think separating what you enjoy doing and what you should be doing are two different things, you know?
Yeah.
And when I sat down, because I only learned how to play guitar 3 years ago properly. When I say properly, I mean I can play what I need to play.
Right.
So previous to that, I couldn't really ever go solo because I couldn't play an instrument.
Right.
So I forced myself to learn guitar, which I don't massively enjoy doing, but you know, we're friends now. And I was like, okay, well, I've got to learn something, and guitar is the easiest thing to bring around. So until then, I didn't really know that I had a passion for the genre that I'm in, which is kind of Celtic folk rock, I guess. Yeah. I thought I've just got to follow what's going on in the scene, and, you know, I've got to be, you know, relevant, and we've got to be current, and I've got to write songs that are going to appeal to people. And I think a lot of musicians and bands do that, you know. I know. Now I'm like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. So I was a fraud. I was a fraud for a very, very, very long time, because I didn't, in my head, realize that I had my own sound, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Oh, 1,000%. So, because I grew up listening to everything from, like, my first CD was Alice in Chains.
Okay.
But my first cassette tape was the Spice Girls.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I've always, and I was raised with Muddy Waters and gospel music, and Motown's not a big thing in New Zealand where I'm from, but you know, like similar to Australia, Motown's just not really like soul music. We know who Aretha Franklin is, but you know, like we didn't grow up listening to it. So then I moved here after being in this hard rock band, and the town that I grew up in, I think, is very similar to West Australia, full of bogans, full of like, you know, metalheads, for those who are listening who are American, and just people who, you know, so I resonated with a lot of, you know, female empowerment rock music, you know, because most of the pop music that when I was growing up just overly sexualized girls or women, and or was defaming, or just there wasn't enough representation for brown people. So I was like, screw it, I'll go to a very white demographic and be unapologetically brown, right? Unapologetically female. So that was my fraud. But I loved it. It's still very much a part of me. But, you know, these days I'm like, I'm writing stuff about, you know, I'm writing songs about things that I couldn't write about when I was in a rock band. You know, I'm still pissing people off.
Like, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. It's crazy. And yeah, you've just got to, it is, there's, you know, there's a formula you've got to do, and you've got to follow some rules. But I like, you'll agree, I think when you say F it, I'm going to do what I want to do, it's so empowering and liberating and scary, but you stop caring, so it doesn't really matter if anybody likes it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're doing it for you.
Yeah, for sure. So what you talk about rules? What are the rules that you're breaking?
What are the rules that I'm breaking?
Yeah.
I'm my own rules that I guess put on myself, that I've got to write songs that are like pop, or I've got to dress a certain way to look how I looked in a band. Now I could look like Madonna if I wanted, with the like steel booby bra, or I can look like Janis Joplin in my flares, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every day is different in my world. Before, I used to think, because I was told so many times in this industry, you have to have a look and stick with that look. You have to have a sound and stick with that sound. Otherwise, your fans will be confused. And this was, the theory that I grew up in. And I stuck with for so many years, because somebody in the industry, who was quite high up in the industry, told me this. And I was like, okay, well, clearly this is what I have to do. But I think what we forget is that with time, everything changes. The music industry is not what it used to be. And like, just with the streaming platforms, you don't even have to show your face. You can just chuck songs up there and become instantly famous because somebody put you on a Spotify playlist or whatever, so those rules I break all the time, because they're not really rules, they're made to be broken. So I just really do the opposite of what I'm told, what I was being told to do, because like it didn't serve me any justice before. So
I think this is why I was drawn to you in the first place. I saw your picture and I was like, she looks like somebody who doesn't give a flying.
No, I don't. I spent too many years caring, and now I'm just like, well, that didn't work for me. So,
so you've got children now.
I do.
How old are they?
I've got oh God, he's 8. He's nearly not. No, he's nearly 8. I can't remember. How old is he? He's 8. 11 and nearly 21.
Wow.
Yes, I
That's
know.
Amazing. Okay. And so I'm assuming that you've always gigged with them, like in your life.
In here, yes. In Ireland, no. With my eldest, yes, I gigged a little bit. I was in different bands. When I say bands, we weren't working bands, so we were more like studio bands. I was in a 4-girl band, girl band, twice. And we would just record, and we played maybe 2 or 3 shows, but I was really young. I was like 20,
right.
19, 20. And the last girl band that it was really clever setup. The producer put us together. We were all different genres, and we just did backing vocals and backing dance for each other on stage. So it was really fun.
Girl.
Yeah, that like I can't dance, and there's videos somewhere which I need to burn, but
the VHS.
it was fun. Like it was such a fun concept, because the audience got 4 different genres, but it all really worked well together.
Yeah.
And there's still some of those songs. I have a couple of those songs on SoundCloud from back in the day. And it's really funny. Do you listen to songs from years ago that you've done and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, I've written, I've been writing music. So I don't know how much you know about my history, but I was born with a health condition, which has meant that I've had 10 brain surgeries.
Wow, I didn't know this.
Right. So that's how like songwriting was like my therapy, my self-therapy, to kind of understand myself and express myself and become comfortable with myself. So I've been writing songs since I was 5 years old. And I recorded my first single when I was 10 about, wait for it, environmental awareness and poverty.
Stop it. You were like Greta back in the day.
Right. So, yeah. So,
you still have it?
I still have it. It's deep in the archives. I might have to like crack it out sometime and just be like, hey, this was a
Absolutely
time.
do.
But yeah, it's a journey, you know, like, and you're right, like the industry is changing so ridiculously, because I was always told, you know, again, as a brown person, I needed to do R&B music.
Yeah, of course.
And then, you know, so that Look Around was the name of the song that I recorded about environmental awareness.
Okay.
And so they totally R&B-fied it and then put a rapper on it. And and I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Meanwhile, I'm going home and listening to like Britney and,
Yeah.
you know, and Christina Aguilera, and then I discovered not long after that Iron Maiden, and and everything's like,
Your take.
yeah, but similar, like, you know, sometimes I want to dress up like Madonna, sometimes I want to dress up like, you know,
Yeah. It's all dependent on mood, right?
yeah, for real. So how are you, like, moving back to present day, where post girl band, post pretending to dance, like whatever?
Yeah.
How are you? You talked about the music industry's change. Obviously, you and I have met because of a course that we're doing together on how the industry is changing.
Of course.
So, of course. How how is that looking like for you at the moment? You're like, are you full-time music now, or are you still working?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was in the middle of a tour when this crisis happened, so I had to like stop all, and like every other musician, all the shows have been cancelled. So now is a great time to realize that the music industry has changed, because a lot of people don't. And the course that we're doing, you know, tells us this, you know, and how you can promote yourself online, which is now the main source of entertainment for everyone.
For real.
You know? So yeah, I mean, that's what I've just like got deep into marketing, like, knowledge, because before I'm not really tech savvy. I don't really know the ins and outs of like how to market, and the business side for me has always been just book shows, get your release out, pay somebody to service it and distribute it and do all of the things, you know, which is great if you've got a huge budget, and also great for the people that will take your money and not really do anything. So I feel like musicians need to educate themselves, and now is the great time to do it, and, you know, build up their database for online magazines and community radio. And, you know, I had a really like bad perception of community radio, as in, you know, who listens to it, like maybe 3 people. But I mean, those 3 people can add you up if it's like
I used to work for community radio stations. Oh, okay.
But I mean, I've been going to them for years, and I really appreciate everyone that works there. Great.
Nice save.
But who really listens, you know? But there's a few, and they all add up. And I think it's like I said, it's a bad perception to have. I think you just get fed up of not getting the major stations, which you're never going to get unless you've got a massive budget to pay them to put you on rotation. And this is the like delusion that a lot of musicians have, which I had, which I'm sure you had. It's like, if my song is good enough, they'll love it and they'll put it on all of the radios. It doesn't work like that, you know? You've got to have either a huge label behind you or be your own label and have a huge budget. You know, all of these songs that you hear on the radio are paid. They're paid to put them on, you know?
Yeah.
So you've got to find a different way. And this is where the course that we're doing teaches you that, you know, that music industry is broken. And there is ways around it, you know. And yes, you still have to invest in your business like any other business. You've got to put money into ads, and you've got to, before you put your budget into those ads, you have to make sure that your product is, you know, attractive to the audience, and make sure you've got a good video, make sure you've got great social media, make sure the song, most importantly, is amazing, because those steps will lead to that. And if they don't like that song, it's a waste of time, you know?
Yeah.
So,
So who like, are you, while you're on lockdown, because I don't know what your process is, but this year, I mean, starting, I started this in November, and then I started the course in January. But I've been, you know, I'm on the 6-week release plan. Are you doing the same thing?
The 6 weeks release thingy?
Yeah, release plan.
No. I oh yeah, I was. And then I was like, well, why 6 weeks? 6 weeks because you've got to build it up and all of that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, because I just haven't been able to get into the studio and I haven't been happy with what I've written. So right now, the last song that I released was actually a collaboration with 2 other writers, and we hadn't really planned to release it, but I was like, well, you know what? It works well because it gives me time to do some stuff. So while in lockdown, I've been writing heaps and just revisiting old songs and producing them here at home. Okay. And I send them to like a studio and he'll do them professionally. Cool. And then I'll go in, and then I mean the 6 weeks thing is it's good because it's consistent, but I feel like you can release a song every week if you want to. I mean, you wouldn't want to leave it any longer than 6 weeks because your fans will kind of dwindle on, you know. Mm-hmm. But also I feel like if you're not putting music out on the streaming platforms, you can put anything out online, you know, just to keep them interested. So I've been doing little videos of songs that I wouldn't potentially release. Right. So they're like little bonus tracks and stuff.
Is that your Fieldsy on Fridays?
Yes. And also on my artist page as well. So the live streams and all of that are keeping people going. And I feel like you don't need to be too caught up on the whole 6 weeks release thing.
That's cool. So you're using this quarantine time to really like dig deep into your creativity and just writing, and that's so cool. I'm doing the same thing, but it's nice to know somebody else is doing it.
It is. I mean, it took me a while. I kind of like the last maybe 2 weeks is the first time that I've been like, okay, this is enough now of just watching Netflix and, you know, procrastinating. I know. I mean, there's nothing else to watch. So I was like, okay, now's the time. And I've done a few lives and stuff like that, like set lives, which was fun. For me, it was really weird doing my first live set. I've gone live on Facebook and Instagram previous only not even a handful of times because I find it extremely I'm really vulnerable when I do it. Like I feel like it's the weirdest thing. I don't know why I get so like nervous, way more nervous than if I was to play an actual live show, you know?
Yeah, I think it's because you don't have the energy to sort of feed off of.
Yeah. And also it's recorded forever. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas if I mess up in a venue, there's a small chance somebody's recording, but like who's ever going to see it, you know? Whereas if I just like say something weird, it's there for everyone.
I own my weirdness, so I'm all about like, oh crap, I buggered that up a little bit.
To be fair, the same, but I think it's just the before thought that I freak out. So it's been really good for me to do lives on other pages, like including like this. Whereas I don't really have the control, you know, but I'm talking to somebody, so that's good. Like I did, it was like Rock the Lockdown. Have you heard of that Facebook group?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's huge. And I did that 2 weeks running. And like the first time, there was like 20,000 people like watching it. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God, this is insane. But because I was so busy just playing, I couldn't think about it. So afterwards, I was like, that was like so good. And the feedback was amazing. So you've just got to remind yourself that, you know, stop being an idiot, stop overthinking. And just do it.
One of my favorite things is get out of your own effing way. So
absolutely, it's great, and that is how everyone should lead their life, you know. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
you know, every now and then you're going to have somebody just to make things interesting and be a little bit difficult.
That's what makes the world go round. There's people like us, And then there's people who have their feet firmly screwed to the ground that are gonna like, you know, knock a bit of sense into you every now and again.
Cool. So you're doing a lot of live shows. How are you? I feel like you're really, there's a lot of people that are sort of drowning in panic and things, and being a full-time musician that, like, besides planting seeds, as I'm saying at the moment, you know, like that's all we can do really is, you know, write the songs and practice the guitar. And I'm getting back into the piano again and making a lot of mistakes on my Facebook lives, but I don't care. Whatever, I'm human. How are you, like, what's keeping you grounded during this time? What's keeping you from not completely losing it?
I'm the kind of person that has to have something new happening all the time. Like, even if it's I'm rearranging furniture because it's annoyed me that it's been in that spot for so long, or, you know, I've got about 1.5 million unfinished songs, or something needs doing all the time. So I can't really ever sit still. I'll always find something to do. And the last couple of weeks, I'm trying to focus it into the music and revisiting songs that I haven't finished and things like that. But and also, again, like, just trying to really like upskill on the business side and try and, like, I've been watching so many like YouTube videos about how to market, and they all pretty much say the same, but then there's that odd one that I get like a little idea from, and, you know, so there's hidden gems everywhere that you can be learning and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like I'm just trying to keep busy by educating myself and finishing unfinished projects.
Yeah,
what about you? Are you saying?
I was just going to say, are you being inundated with like emails and emails and emails and emails of information?
Oh yeah, so many.
I'm just like, I can't personally, like, my neighbor, love her to death. She's like, I don't know what to do tonight. I'm just gonna like chill. And I'm like, I have things you can do. Like,
help me.
What does that feel like? What does that taste like? Like, I don't understand this. I just, yeah. So I'm same thing. I've decided that during this time I'm going to, much like you're dedicating time to unfinished projects, I'm dedicating, my biggest unfinished project is myself at the moment. My health has been like so forgotten about over, because like living in the nation's capital of America, DC, it's so crazy and busy here. Like, everybody's like on the go, everyone's doing things. If you're not working, you're drinking. If you're not drinking, you're working. Don't really sleep, you know. And I don't really drink, so it makes things really awkward. So for me, now, like, I'm, you know, I wake up in the morning, I meditate.
Okay.
What is this?
Nice.
I don't even know who I am right now.
This is my huge problem. And I ask people, like, how do you stop your brain working? Because if I'm sat there, it's like 90 miles an hour, but I don't know how. I've tried everything. How do you do it?
Well, to get me in the mood for it, like when I first started experimenting with meditation, stretching really helps. Like, that way you're actually doing something, but it gives you time to focus on that one thing.
Yeah,
Does
right.
that make sense? Or going for hikes. And you're in Western Australia, babes. Like,
I love hiking. I do. Yes. I have to say.
Not a big thing here in DC. A lot of people don't really dig hiking because everyone's busy.
Yeah. Like the gym, work, and then
I'm thinking, like, during this time it's really nice because people are actually outside and running and, you know, spending time with their families on their porches, and, you know, it's really cool. But no, so some meditation, and then I'm doing a million like at-home workouts before I even start my day.
Oh, cool.
So
I need to start the workout thing at home. I'm walking every day with my dog, which is, we do like maybe a 3-4K walk. But
That's
I'm
cool.
like, I've done my workout today,
What kind of dog do you have?
I was a gym like a goer all the time, and I'm like enjoying the break, but also I'm not enjoying the extra wobble, So it's like I need the gyms need to be open soon, because
Right.
I need somebody to motivate me. If I'm by myself, I just can't focus on it. Like I'm just like, oh, I need to do this, and I'll do that later. I need somebody to be like 20 push-ups, like commanding me.
There's like, I know that a lot of private schools or gyms or whatever have taken a lot of their classes online.
Yeah,
So
they
you can
have.
like do Zoom
Yes,
classes, and
I see this,
it's nuts.
but I'm like, yeah, no.
No. At least you're honest about it.
I know. I mean, every Sunday I'm like, tomorrow I'm starting, and that's been for the last 6 weeks.
You guys been in lockdown for 6 weeks?
Well, I was on tour, like the 22nd of March I got back. So I hadn't worked out for like 2 weeks previous to that, because I was on tour around Australia. I mean, I was stuck in Byron Bay, which is like not the worst place to be in. So I was like, if they lock down the borders, I'll live here. It's fine, kids. Sorry, I can't.
For watching who don't know what Byron Bay is in Sydney, and it is an absolutely stunning place.
It's my favorite place in the world. So I was happy to be there, with the rest of my shows cancelled. So I kind of, I was supposed to go back to Brisbane.
Mm-hmm.
Not Brisbane. It was somewhere. Where was I? Gold Coast, which is also beautiful. But I was like, nah, I'm just gonna stay here. But yeah, that was about 6 weeks ago. So I haven't worked out properly in that length of time, because as soon as I got back, everything was locked down. Yeah. And obviously, it's great that gyms have like stopped taking your membership fee, and they're doing all of these free classes online. But I'm just like, I'll watch that later and do it later. I've got to be really like, the only way I could ever go to gym or classes was when my friends were going. We would go maybe 3 or 4 times a week. And it would be like up out of bed, drop the kids to school, straight to the gym. So I'm motivated. Whereas I don't have a structure here. So it's like, yeah.
So what does a typical day look like for you at the moment?
Right now?
Yeah.
I still get up early. The last few weeks I've been trying to get up early, straight into the active wear, take the dog out for a walk, come home, wake the kids. They won't want to wake. They're like, they've been getting up at like 12 o'clock because they've been staying up later, and I'm like, whatever. But they're actually going back to school on Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah, schools are open here on Wednesday. So that's really amazing that, okay, we see a light at the end of the tunnel over here. It's like a slow opening. So you can send your kids if you want to. You don't have to if you're, worried. But they're going. They're going. They've been off. I took them out of school as soon as I got back, because I'd been in the 2 places in Australia that had the highest rate of this virus. And I was like, well, I'm not going to infect them, God forbid. And then, so they've been off a bit longer than everyone else. So now I'm ready to be like, bye, I did my part. You can go back to school. So from Wednesday, we'll have some sort of routine, which is going to be mind blowing.
That's amazing. It's so heartwarming to see states, countries like getting their shit back together, because things are diabolical here.
Oh my God, I know. Like, I don't know the stats right now, but I know 3 days running of this week, we had 0 new cases.
That's amazing.
So the curve is completely flattened. Also, we are the most isolated state in the world, I think. So it was always going to be a little bit easier for us when they shut everything down, But it's going to happen. I keep saying to people, it's like, look, there's going to be a time where things are going to be starting to get back to normal. Like, because a lot of countries, even in Ireland, they're not doing great either. They weren't doing great. Maybe they're doing a bit better now, but I see people posting, it's like, oh, they shouldn't be out and they shouldn't be doing this. And, like, everyone is just scared. They don't know what's right. They don't know what to do. And, you still have to have some kind of like normality a little bit in your life. So going for a walk or whatever. And at some point, the government is going to be like, we're opening the schools, we're opening these shops. You'll still only be allowed in a certain amount of numbers. So, look at us, it's happening here. It's going to happen everywhere. And, the new normal thing, it's great. I love the way people come up with these hashtags. But it'll be back to the normal, next year, everybody, not that we'll have ever forgotten about it, but it's not going to be the one thing on everybody's mind when you wake up in the morning,
Yeah, I mean, I've had some conversations with people about what the new normal is, and I think everybody has a different idea of what a new normal looks like, right? Like the first conversation I had was with my mentor, and she was saying like, this is an opportunity for us to create a new normal where we're more, socially conscious.
Yes.
More environmentally aware. We're more neighborly.
Apparently.
Sorry?
Hygienic, apparently.
Yes. And we're just looking out and being kinder to each other. And I say that as somebody who lives in the States, knowing full well that there are other countries who are worse at us than this. And also much better at America at being kind. Just
I mean,
it's
an example. A population thing.
Sorry, what was that?
It's a population thing. If you've got way more people in one country, there's going to be a higher percentage of a-holes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they're never going to go away. Like they're not. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like those who are normally kind anyway will just show it way more to people now now and in the future because of, how much we have to pull together through this time. Everybody, has to look out for each other. And those who would be kind normally just maybe on a lower level are probably going, okay, well, here's my opportunity to like reach out and say, are you okay? And whatever, but, I feel like there's many bad people in the world and they're still going to be there, but we just have to like ignore. Block and delete about
I say that knowing full well that they're probably those same a-holes you're talking about probably think that we're the a-holes. So
absolutely. And you're never going to change each other's minds. So just stick with your own crew. And that's the thing that I've learned is that you can't make everybody like you. Somebody is going to not like you just because they don't want to, They might like you if they stopped that, but they're not going to. And that's a huge thing as well that I've actually seen more online recently is those a-holes coming out aggressively because they're obviously trapped inside and I can, annoy people online. And they might think they're trying to be funny, but they're just coming across really bad. And it's I feel like obviously just with the access of the internet that has just become more apparent in the last kind of decade. And so that, because I actually put a question on my Instagram ages ago saying, do you think there's more a-holes now with the internet or that now we can just see all of them? And it was 100% agreed that now we can just see them. So they've always been around. And I think, especially now where everything is online, people need to not buy into their BS, just delete, ignore, block. And that's how I live my life. I don't know how that got so deep.
No, I love it. Real talk, baby. Real talk. So is that how you've always dealt with haters and things? Because I remember back in when I was in my hard rock band, I released this single, and I laugh about this now. Was super sexist. Somebody had commented on YouTube of the official video that I have a song called "So Sore," and it was talking about my soul is sore, everything is falling down. The world's on fire. My head is feeling sore. I'm not able to deal with this. And somebody, being the troll that they were, I have no idea who it is, went online and she's like, she's just sore because she's screwing too many guys.
Oh,
I was like,
Wow. Wow. I mean, you taking that comment, I get it, because if it was from me, I'd have been the same. I'd have been like, how? Like wanting to say, I don't, like, what are you talking about? But me not, putting that and reading that comment as just a viewer, I'm like, God, you are such a sad human being.
Right.
And this is what we have to remember, is that no one's reading that comment thinking they're amazing and they're cool for saying that. They're just like, you're a knob end. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So this is the thing that we have to remind ourselves, right? Like, did you spew on that for ages?
At the time, I'd been in a relationship for 2.5 years.
Right.
And I went to my boyfriend at the time and I was like, what do I
It's not true.
I'm a good human. And even if it was true, like, way to slut shame, y'all. Like, for real.
It's like, what's wrong with your life? Like, you have to go online. Like, you were in such a bad place that, because I and you would never do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm really against something and I don't like it, I just move the F along. I'm not going to write about it,
Yeah.
Unless it's like something. No, see, if, we were friends at the time and I saw that, I'd probably be like, writing back to her. I'm like that. But if it's for me, I'm just like, delete, block, move along. I don't give them what they want, because they want a reaction.
Of course.
That is the thing that feeds them. So it's like, sorry, you're not getting it,
And I feel like, talking about the internet trolls at the moment, the only way that I'm able to really deal with it at the moment is realizing that, to your point, it says so much more about them. So I just need to love them harder.
Yes.
Like, show us not actually like, hey, are you okay? But, but just, give them an opportunity.
I mean, even the thing saying, sending hugs, they'll just be like, I don't know how to respond to that, like, sort of thing, Like, I'm really lucky. I don't get too much hate. I get the odds, like, oh, you ruined yourself with all those tattoos, or, those kind of, I know, right? So I'm just like,
hi. What's up?
I usually send them, like, exactly. I usually just do like a selfie. Sorry, or whatever. And I'm like, I don't care what you say. And that's just like the older generation, where they're just like, tattoos were just a bad thing. And sometimes I'll get, because I'll post photos that are a little bit raunchy or whatever. And it's like, before I would care if people thought that I was like, seeking attention, but every single human being seeks attention in some sort of way, and that's okay. Like, it is okay, but I'll post it because I think it's a nice photo, and whatever. If I've got a bit of side boob hanging out there, like, I'm not full nips.
Nice side boob.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just a little bit. And, I'll get like, oh, why do you have to like post these photos to get attention? I'm like, yeah, obviously I want the likes, so, I mean, let's be real about it,
I remember I did a show recently and my bra was showing. Like, I had a low top, and, like, I don't know, you could see the top of the
okay, and that's terrible.
I know. And somebody called it was a friend of mine, actually. She's like, Emma, we can see your bra. And I stopped. And I said, the place was like full to the brim. I said, has anybody here not seen a breast before? Or y'all are all over the age of 21. If you haven't, we might need to talk about some things. Talk about where the birds and the bees, where babies come from or whatever. But if we're good, acknowledging the fact that as a woman, I wear bras.
I wear support for my breasts.
Can we get on with the show, please?
Like, it's crazy. It is crazy. It was like, my friends posted a video on that Rock the Lockdown that I was talking about. And this is like a group that has, nearly 1 million members. So a lot of people see these videos. And my friend and his wife posted a video, and she's a singer. She's very beautiful. She did like a Lana Del Rey cover, and she had like a denim shirt that was open and a sports bra on, like just that you would wear to the gym. And she started off, and the kind of shirt fell, and it was quite sexy. And I was like, "That's beautiful." But she like more covered than I am right now. And the very first 10 comments were from men who were like, "Why does she have to wear? Why doesn't she just get her boobs out?" Or all of these kind of things. And I was just like, like creep. I'm like, dude, do you understand that you are the creep here? She's wearing a sports bra like that you would wear to the gym. Are you going around telling every woman at the gym that they should cover up? Like, stop. And it was honestly just, I'm not trying to like I am generalizing. They were all like older men, that clearly don't have a life. And then everybody started attacking them, and it was really good. This group is one for positivity, so they remove all of the negative comments when they are reported and stuff. But I was just like, come on, like, I'm here trying to show a really beautiful version of a song, and all you're on here for is to find something to pick at. And again, I just want to reinforce the fact to anyone that's watching that might even see a negative comment towards them, it is 100% all about them and nothing to do with you. And I'm all for people being like, feel sorry for them and pity them, but no, they're not getting my pity. There's people all over the world that deserve my pity. These people choose to be a-holes, so they ain't getting it, Everyone's going through something, right? Like everyone, but I'm over here being a bully, and neither are you. So I don't believe that they deserve pity or to be felt sorry for whatever they're going through. They're human. They are grown-ass adults that can sort their own stuff out.
I literally wrote a song about that called The Wolf Hunting. It's like, it's all about, how are you choosing to show up today? What wolf do you want to feed today? Know?
Exactly. I want to hear that.
It's a thing. I've set up my home studio, so we'll see if I can do like an acoustified, stripped back version.
That'd be cute. Yeah, because I think a lot of people need to hear it. They need to.
Well, that's the kind of music that I'm writing now.
Yeah, but again, people will not. They need to hear it, but they don't. They'll never listen. Because they're just born.
Well, I mean, you're right. I remember one time I was playing in Virginia, and a bunch of skinheads walked in. I know you know what a skinhead is. I don't know if people. Yeah. Okay. I think like in America that sort of means different things. When I say skinhead, I'm talking about like white supremacists. And they listened for a little bit, and I was like, this is awkward. I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. And as they left the venue, they were like, love the music, hate your message. I was like, oh.
Well, sorry, they were listening.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome, sir.
I would have been like, well, thanks for listening. You are welcome to your opinion, but I appreciate that you listened. That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that I kind of planted one kind of seed in there, just be like, oh,
You know what? It's like time. Exactly. That seed will grow. Maybe they will be conscious of something that crops up in the future, and they will remember the lyrics and be like, oh, I could handle this a bit differently,
Yeah, for real.
Again, you asked me earlier, and I didn't actually answer the question, how I came to having this attitude of not giving an F kind of thing or whatever, or handling the bullies online. And it's from other people. Like when I joined the band, my best friend now, who I just met when I started the band, Andy, he's a guy from England, and he's the guitarist in the band. And we're like near the same in age and just very similar personality, except for two hugely different ways, which is he is very like diplomatic and handles issues by sitting back and thinking about it, whereas I'm like straight away reactive, so reactive. And he noticed that very early on when we were in the band, that I just straight away, I'm like a freaking, I don't know, grenade. Like I'll just go straight off.
Mm-hmm.
So he would like say things to be like, maybe if you're feeling this way, message me, and then I'll kind of help you handle that situation. So I did that for a good 2 years until I was able to kind of put those tools into place myself and not react straight away and just kind of let it go for even 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, or sleep on it, you know, and at one stage I handled a situation that involved the band, like how he would have it. And he was kind of like, oh my God, who is this person? Like, wow, you didn't even like look at me, kind of, you just walked away. And I was like, it killed me inside. But yes, I did. And it's a learning tool.
I think it's one of the superpowers of being a musician is that we have an opportunity, and just humans in general, but specifically musicians, is that we have this ability to become alchemists.
Yes.
Right? We can turn those weird, awkward, angry, fiery discussions into songs. Absolutely. And I don't know, that's how I've chosen to do it. Like, again, back in New Zealand, I was playing a gig with my band in Wellington, and some skinheads walked in. And I did what you did, and I just walked away. I took myself to some random little patch of grass outside, sat there and meditated for a good, I don't know, 10 minutes or something, and went back in and put on the best performance I had ever put on in my life. By the end of the show, they bought our album, they got selfies with us, they asked for autographs. I was like,
whenever you can convert an a-hole to a fan is like the best moment in life, you know. But it is like, you can do it.
Take the bullshit, plant a garden, use it as fertilizer.
Yeah, exactly. And remember that it's a moment. Don't make it a longer time in your life, because somebody else's one moment can affect you for like months, years, whatever. And they've forgotten about it. They don't even know what the hell they did to you with one comment or whatever, or one action. So you've got to remember that it's a moment and then just let it go, you know.
You're amazing. This is Saturday night church, Sunday morning church in Australia with Fieldsy, everybody. Before we get going, I have one person asked what your Instagram is.
It's Fieldsy_official. So FIELDSY_official.
I'm gonna write that in the comments so that they can follow you. And awesome. Do you have any last comments, insults, compliments that you would like to motivate the world with before?
I would say that thank you for having me. You're amazing. I love all of your posts. The funny ones just get me all the time. I feel like I'm like, oh God, I could have posted that. Like, we're the same person. And your music, I love your music. And you know, if anything, the internet has brought us together, and me and many other people, and you and many other people, I'm sure, that are the same vibe. So whoever's watching, find your tribe and hug them, and anyone else can just disappear. Like, don't worry about it, and just stay happy, healthy, safe during this time. We'll get through it. Like I said, WA is heading to some sort of normality. #new normal, but it'll happen, you know.
Hilarious. Hashtag Fieldsy, #new normal, #.
I love doing that. It's my favorite thing. It's probably because of my age. Everyone was like, you're so old. I'm like, hashtag.
Well, you know,
my kids hate me, but then
you're not getting older, you're leveling up in my view. So there we go.
I haven't aged a day. I feel like my favorite age was like 26.
Okay.
And I've just stayed there. People ask me my age, I'm like, I'm 26 plus 10 or whatever. How old I am? That's 12 actually. Can't do math.
I used to work in cabaret with drag queens, and they would always say, like, she's 21 with a few years experience.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Exactly.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much. Everybody who's watching in, please make sure you follow Fieldsy either on Facebook or Instagram. She is releasing music all the time on the Spotifys and the iTunes and all of the things, and all those details are obviously on her social media. If you have a question, too late. Otherwise,
I'm going to watch this all back so you can comment later.
Yes, indeed. Cool. Peace be with you. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to each other. Call your mum. Peace, love, and onions.